This is the Alec Pequignot Football Show, your home for all things NFL. I'm your host, Alec, and let's dive right into it. Today on the show, we will be going over my latest NFL mock draft, as well as recapping and giving my thoughts on the NFL trade deadline from this past week. So, let's jump right into the mock draft. And we start with the Saints. The Saints have the number one pick. And I like Tyler Shuck, but I feel like if they have the number one pick, they are going to take a quarterback. And to me, that QB is going to be Fernando Mendoza. I will have next week my QB rankings for the 2026 NFL Draft out. It will be top 15. You will hear more in depth about that next week. The Titans at number 2, they could go multiple ways. They do not need a QB. They don't need a quarterback. We could go wide receiver here. We could go offensive line. We could go defense. I'm going to go defense here, and I'm going to give them edge rusher Ruben Bain Jr. out of Miami. I feel like they need to keep building up that defense, and this receiver class is deep, which means you could get a good receiver in the later round, in the second or third round of the draft. So Ruben Bain to the Titans. The Jets at number 3. They need help everywhere. They need another receiver. They need quarterback. I am going to go with a guy that those people don't think can go in the first round, but I think he might sneak into the first round if he keeps playing really good. It is Cincinnati quarterback Brandon Sorsby. I think he can end up being I'm not going to say top 5 pick, but right now for me, he is skyrocketing up draft boards, especially my QB rankings, which you will see again next week. The Dolphins at 4, they cannot get out of Tua's contract until next year. So therefore, I have them taking a defensive player. And I'm going to have them taking, they need to get younger on defense. They just traded Jalen Phillips. They traded a couple other guys too at the deadline. They traded Jalen Ramsey before the season. I'm going to have them taking edge rusher Kedrick Falk out of Auburn. I think this is the perfect fit for the Miami defense. Get younger, get a guy that's physical and can rush the passer. The Giants at 5. They need offensive line. They need wide receiver. This is where I have the first wide receiver going. And I know everybody wants to say, Jordan Tyson's wide receiver 1. There's a guy that's sneakily rising up boards. It's not Carnell Tate. It's not Jordan Tyson. It's not Mekhi Lemon. It is Chris Bell out of Louisville. And not saying he's going to be the first wide receiver off the board. To me, it's going to be either Tyson, Lemon, or Tate. And I think Carnell Tate would be a good 1B to Malik Neighbors 1A. So give me Carnell Tate to the Giants at 5. The Browns at 6 need a quarterback. And you can see that Dante Moore is still there, Ty Simpson, Garrett Nussmeier. I think Garrett Nussmeier is slowly, his stock is, he's playing okay, but his stock is slowly fading. which means I have Dante Moore going here. So pick 6 was the. Can we not get the there? Dante Moore. I'm going to go. And Ty Simpson's another guy. At the beginning of the season, I did not have him going in the first round. Now I do. Ty Simpson here to the Browns at 6. The Raiders at 7. They could take quarterback. They could wait. I am going to have to take the first offensive lineman in this draft. Spencer Fano out of Utah. Colton Miller's been good. They did lose Jackson Powers Johnson last night to injury. I could easily see them being one of the teams that takes a offensive lineman here. So Spencer Fano goes to them. The Bengals, I'm going to have them take a defensive player. You see that Peter Woods is still on the board. Trey Hendrickson is probably not coming back to the Bengals at the end of the season. So give me either they're going to lose Trey Hendrickson unless somehow in the offseason this year they could give him an extension. I don't think it happens. So I'm going to have him take defensive tackle out of Clemson, Peter Woods. I feel like that's a lateral move and a perfect scheme fit. The Commanders at 9. They need help. Let's go defensive tackle or Darius Washington. No. What are their wide top needs are wide receiver, running back, linebacker, edge. What do we have left for edge? Yeah, that's not promising. Corners. Running back, guard. We are going to go back to I'm going to give them an offensive lineman. I'm going to give him Vega Ayano from Penn State. They need help on the offensive line. They've had some injuries there this year, and I feel like Vega Ayano is going to help the Commanders. The Ravens at number 10. Let's see. Defensive tackle. Darius Washington. Okay, so the Ravens, they need edge, tight end, guard, defensive tackle, linebacker. I'm going to give them the first linebacker off the board, and I don't think it's going to be either of the Ohio State guys. They will go in the first round, though. I think it's going to be C.J. Allen from Georgia. He has flown up draft boards. Like, he is rising at an alarming pace. And he's a off-ball line. He can play sideline to sideline. And I like the fit with him going to the Ravens. The Rams, this is their first of 2 first-round picks. And I'm going to have them take the first cornerback in this draft. And it will be LSU's Mansour Dulane. I got to watch him last year when he was at Virginia Tech. Physical, lanky cornerback. Good in press coverage. Needs to work on his zone coverage a little bit. But I still think the kid is really good. So give me Dulane here to the Rams. The Cardinals. It sounds like the Kyler Murray era in Arizona is done. But here's where my first trade's going to happen. I am going to have the Cardinals and the. Let me see something here. Hold on. Who did I have the Jets take? Did I have the Jets? I think I had the Jets taking a quarterback. Close. My picks. I'm trying to look and see who I had the Jets take because I don't want them to take a second quarterback. Yeah, I had the Jets take a quarterback. Now I'm going to have them trade with the Cardinals, and you'll see why. There's a wide receiver. The Jets need a number 2 receiver. Trade with the Cardinals. $35 and future Dallas first. For 12. Propose. Confirm. Okay, we're going to go back again and try this. That was unfair value. We're going to get this trade to go through. Jets. We're trying to figure this out. I think the Cardinals and Jets are going to make a trade here. Yes. Okay, I guess we're not going to have a trade up. The Cardinals are going to take quarterback Dante Moore from Oregon. The Texans are on the clock. And they are going to take offensive lineman. This is where his fall ends. Francis Mayanoa from Miami. They need help on that offensive line. You've seen CJ Stroud this year. He is not particularly doing good. Now we're going to try to make another trade. It's going to be the Cowboys. And the Jets. Cowboys are going to trade this to move back. So the Jets trade with the Cardinals to move up and get Brandon Sorsby a new weapon. It is wide receiver Makai Lemon from USC. I said when I took Brandon Sorsby earlier in the first round here in this mock draft that the Jets were not done moving up. The Jets needed another wide receiver. and they're going to get it in Mekhi Lemon. I like the pick there for the Jets. The Panthers need cornerback, running back, edge. We're going to give them an edge rusher here. And I feel like the Panthers could also move back and recoup another first. And that's what I'm going to have them do in this situation. So back-to-back trades. Who wins it? I said the Vikings are going to trade down. Carolina. Panthers to move up one spot are going to give up in a future third. So the Panthers move up one spot to take defensive lineman, edge rusher David Bailey out of Texas Tech. No, correction. They're not going to take him. The Panthers are moving up to take an offensive lineman, maybe. No, they're going to move up to take a defensive back. Jermod McCoy out of Tennessee. Yes, I know he's been out most of the season with a recovering from Achilles surgery, but he is going to go here to the Panthers at 15. Now it's the Vikings. The Vikings are now on the clock, and they are also going to take a DB, a defensive back, and they're going to take my cornerback to Keith Abney out of Arizona State, who has been rising up boards. And going forward, every couple of weeks, you're going to get position draft rankings from me from different positions. Keith Abney goes there. The Chiefs are going to take the third straight cornerback here. And I believe they're going to take Avion Terrell from Clemson. Good sideline, good boundary cornerback. He's had his ups and downs this year, but I still feel like he's a first-round pick. And he's going to fit well in that scheme in Kansas City. The Bears are going to take. They have Kyle Monangai, but I'm going to have him take it. Is there any good D tackle? Darius Washington, David Bailey. They do need defensive tackle. I mean, they do need edge. I'm going to have them take David Bailey, and they could have moved up to make this pick, but I have them taking David Bailey out of Texas Tech. I like this pick for the Bears here at 20. The Browns at 19. They did not get a quarterback with their last pick, I don't believe. I believe they did, actually. We are going to go back and look at the Browns. The Browns did get a quarterback. Their receiving room is fine. I'm going to give them an offensive lineman. I'm going to give them Caden Proctor out of Alabama. So Ty Simpson's best friend one of his offensive linemen, Caden Proctor. The Steelers. I'm going to give them a wide receiver that is shooting up my draft board. And it is a guy that's a little further down. It is Eliza Surratt. No. It is Jeremy Bernard out of Alabama. Jeremy Bernard coming into the season, most people saw him as a day two, late day, late day two, early day three pick. He has put together a really good season for Bama, and he is just he's raising his draft stock exponentially. So I have him going here to the Steelers, even though the Steelers need a lot of help. The Lions, I'm going to have to take the third cornerback in this draft, and my cornerback number 3, and cornerback Davison Igbinosun out of Ohio State. Igbinosun struggled last year, but you look at his stats under the hood this year, he's only been penalized one time the entire season. And he's been one of the best corners in the Big Ten. We got the Chargers at 23. I think they're going to make a trade here. The Chargers are going to trade with the Dolphins. There's somebody the Dolphins really want. Miami and the LA Chargers. So, Dolphins are going to trade 2 and a future third to move up to 22. Maybe. Yep. The Dolphins are moving up to 22 to take linebacker Sonny Styles out of Ohio State. Sonny Styles came in. He was a safety last year. Ohio State moved him to linebacker, and he has had a great season for Ohio State at linebacker. And he's the first of 2 Ohio State linebackers that are going to be taken in the first round. '49ers need tackle, guard, wide receiver, defensive tackle, cornerback. I am going to have to take offensive lineman. This is another guy that's kind of rocketing up draft boards. Isaiah World out of Oregon. Offensive tackle. I think he would fit the 49ers scheme perfectly. Then we go to the Cowboys. And I'm also going to have them take a edge rusher here. It is going to be LT Overton out of Alabama. They need help. Their edge rushers are not very good. Rest in peace to Marshawn Nealon, who was kind of starting to get his career on track. My thoughts and prayers go out to him. But with this pick, it is going to be LT Overton. So at 25. At 25, the Bills are going to take a linebacker. I told you, this is the second linebacker that's going to come off the board from Ohio State. I think they're going to take Arvell Reese, linebacker out of Ohio State. This kid has been a revelation for Ohio State this year on defense. He got little playing time last year, and he's been a starter this year, and he has been fantastic. The Seahawks are going to take offensive lineman Caleb Lomu out of Utah, the second Utah offensive lineman to be taken in this draft. The Seahawks really need to work on that offensive line. I like Charles Cross. I like Abe Lucas. But you could easily kick Lomu inside to guard, or you could kick Abe Lucas inside to guard. The 27th pick belongs to the Rams. And I would have them taking a QB, and I think I'm going to. And it's a guy that might not come out this year. If he does, he's another guy that's been, he's kind of rising up my draft board, even though I don't have him ranked as a riser. Taylor Green out of Arkansas. And I think he can sit behind Matthew Stafford and learn for a couple of years. So give me Taylor Green to the Rams. The Broncos are not going to take a quarterback. They have Bo Nix. This is where the slide for Jordan Tyson stops. And the reason I think it stops here is the Broncos need a number 2 receiver behind Cortland Sutton. I like Troy Franklin. I like the pick they made this year, Pat Bryant. But they need a credible number 2 wide receiver. The Buccaneers are going to take defensive tackle are Marion Washington out of Oregon. He is another guy that's been rising up draft boards. Give me our Marion Washington to the Buccaneers. The Patriots. I'm going to have them go off the board here. They have Stephon Diggs. They have Kyle Williams. They have Demario Douglas. But they are also going to take a wide receiver here. And I think it's a guy that's going under the radar a little bit. He's a little bit down the board. Chris Brazzell out of Tennessee. I think the Patriots are going to want more of that stretch the field guy that can be a number 1 receiver. Actually, on second thought, I'm going to go Jacoby Lane out of USC. You saw Mekhi Lemmy go early in the first round. I think Jacoby Lane is going to be the second USC wide receiver taken. So the Eagles at number 31. I'm going to give him an offensive lineman that is not supposed to go in the first round. Actually, I'm going to give him an edge. And it's going to be Quincy Rhodes Jr. out of Arkansas. Or Mason Thomas out of Oklahoma. The Eagles, Brandon Graham came out of retirement. I don't know why he chose to, but the Eagles need to start thinking about drafting on defense, and it's Howie Roseman. He's going to find a gem in the back end of the first round. And then with the last pick in the first round, the Dallas Cowboys are on the clock again. They could lose George Pickens in free agency, but you still got CeeDee Lamb. I'm going to have them take a receiver that currently plays for the University of Texas Agricultural and Marine, Casey Concepcion. He has been a nice find out of the transfer portal for Texas A&M, and I think he would fit in the Cowboys' pass game perfectly. And now I'm going to give you my thoughts and opinions on the trade deadline from the NFL here in a second. Just give me 2 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. And again, before that, My overall thoughts on the trade deadline was it was wild, and I feel like there was a lot of trades, but your favorite NFL analyst, that's the Alec Pequignot way, signing off.